Hello everyone. Good evening, and I welcome all of you to yet another what we have begun calling the Tech Friday session for GEG Amritsar and Punjab. Now, GEGs are the communities, or GEGs are the groups, the Google Educator groups that connect passionate educators to discuss the benefits of technology to schools, to classrooms, and communities across the world, both online and at locally run events offline also, which we really hope to start soon once this COVID situation gets settled. And these groups provide a forum for educators to collaborate, to share, and support each other. So you might be a principal or a school administrator or a professor, a student, or someone who is really interested in using Google products to foster learning. These groups are for you. And each of the group is organized by a local volunteer GEG leader and is entirely independent from Google. Google doesn't pay us anything for this. This is entirely a volunteer job. And today we have with us Jonathan, who is going to tell us about how to make awesome newspapers, and that too in minutes. Jonathan is, once again, Jonathan, if I'm getting it right, he's the community engagement director, doing lots and lots of other amazing things, bringing SMORE to educators and making their lives easier with all the other millions of jobs that we educators are involved in. So, a school newsletter, I know, is a perfect medium to allow responsible expression, challenging of ideas, peer-to-peer influence. Students need an outlet for their creativity, for their ideas, for developing critical thinking, and all this four C's that we're talking about so much these days. So a newspaper can really, or newsletter actually can really help us to bring all those things from students to students, and most importantly, all the updates and information. We can bring them to the parents also in the way in which the school wants it to achieve its goal, right? So there are going to be so many things as we go on offline. Also, there are going to be so many things. We're going to talk about meetings and missions, visions, events, performances happening, community happenings. So parents also find a newsletter a very informative and valuable tool. And how to create one is something that Jonathan is going to navigate us through. And yes, over to you, Jonathan. I'm over.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Yes. So I am joining you from Provo, Utah in the United States. And it is nice 5 o'clock in the morning here, nice and early. The lights are off everywhere else, but the lights are on here for this presentation. So I am super excited. I am going to share my screen and we're going to look at a couple of different things together. I want to give you a nice kind of look at SMORE and make sure that we can have a good discussion here. So, okay, let me just grab my correct tab.
And while Jonathan is sharing the tab, I would like to take this opportunity to really thank you. All greetings from all educators from India for having done this session with the community. Thank you so much.
Okay, I want to confirm. Can you see my screen? Am I showing
Yes,
screen
yes,
okay?
yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So again, just a quick introduction to myself. So yes, Jonathan Rivera here, and I run all the community engagement initiatives for SMORE, which is actually an organization that is based out of Tel Aviv, Israel. But 90 to 95% of our users are all based here in the United States. And so there's my contact information there. I'm happy and excited to connect with anyone there after the session. But let's jump into things. I first want to remind everyone, and I think maybe this was communicated a little bit, but today, for being here, you qualify for a free gift. And we're going to be giving away some of our beloved SMORE plushy kind of pillows, what we have here. And so at the end, stay tuned. At the end, we'll do a little bit of a drawing there that you'll be able to be entered to win, which is really fun. All right. So let's just take a step back and first of all, talk about what is SMORE, first of all, because we're going to talk about SMORE, which is this new, maybe digital newsletter tool that you've never heard of. And it's what it's going to be our main focus. So SMORE makes it easy to create beautiful newsletters that are fun and engaging, that get real results. On the right-hand side here, you can see that just kind of some of our usage numbers, right? Over 12 million people that are reading content each month. We're really, really well known in educators, again, mainly in the United States, where our focus is. There's 70% of US school districts have at least one person who's using SMORE. That's kind of what our data is showing us. And we offer both kind of a free version of our product. I'll talk a little bit about this more, as well as, of course, a paid version, right, where you can upgrade and get some of the other features. But a lot of beautiful newsletters that are created. And I ran some numbers just the other day to kind of look at, well, what about India, right? How many educators and users do we have in that country? And we're even though it's not a huge focus for us, as you can see, there's 121,000 users enjoying, right, SMORE today, living in your beautiful country. And so that's just a little bit about SMORE, what we are. And again, I want to do kind of a walkthrough today of not only the product, but I hope this is kind of sparking ideas on how you could use a newsletter solution in your classrooms, at your school, in whatever way that could support your educational goals. So we'll do a little bit of a product walkthrough. And I want this to be interactive as well. So please feel free to submit any questions or comments. Actually, I've never used this streaming tool before, so I'm not sure if that's available. But if it is, please do. Please submit any questions or comments you might have. We'll talk about our product a little bit here. We'll then talk about some of the support options and things that are available to you to provide you kind of information after this session here. We'll then talk about a little bit about staying connected. And of course, we'll do a question and answer. And at the end, like I mentioned, we'll do a fun giveaway. So that's kind of how we're going to talk through things. So if you remember nothing else from the presentation, because we have about 40 or so more minutes here together, we'll cover a lot of things. But if you remember nothing else, I want you to remember that SMORE is a tool that was made for busy educators, the everyday busy educators that don't have a lot of design skills themselves, that don't have time to create the perfect newsletter tool, and maybe you're lacking the ability to be able to gather all that information. That is normal. SMORE is made for you. SMORE is made to easily create something beautiful and effective, where you have people coming back to you saying, man, how did you create that beautiful newsletter? That looks amazing. Do you have some design skills, or what's that? How did you do that? That is who SMORE is made for. If you're someone who really likes to be creative and maybe gets in the details and customizes a lot of things, and you like to, tweak a lot of changes of colors and fonts and some of those things, SMORE may not be the right tool for you. That you may want to go use some other tool where you can do a lot of customization, a lot of different things. But if you're looking for something that's quick and easy templates, you can easily add information and it looks good every single time, you're in the right place. And we found that's with a lot of educators, that's the majority, right, of individuals who are just very, very busy and working with a lot of different things. So, all right, well, let's jump in to a quick demo here. So I want to log into smore.com, and we're looking at the live product here today. So I first want to, before we even talk about editing newsletters, I want to talk about working with templates. And SMORE has a beautiful template center. And so this is the main home screen that you'll have. And this is kind of an interesting time to be getting a demo and looking at the SMORE product, because we're getting ready to release a brand new editing experience. And so throughout maybe my time here in this demo, you're going to see something says, oh, let's try this new editor, right? Or try the new editing experience. So I'm going to focus mainly on our classic or traditional version of SMORE, but just know that kind of a new version is also coming out. And at the end, if we have time, I'll look at some of our new beta features that are coming out that are really, really cool. But we'll focus, like I said, mainly on kind of SMORE classic on what we have here. But this is the main screen. On your main screen here, you're able just to kind of get a glance at, of course, your account, any badges that you've earned here on the left. And on the bottom, these are the recently created newsletters that you have kind of in your library. And then you have your name, main navigation across the top, right? Newsletters, mailing list, templates. If you're part of a Teams account, there's team here. And there's two different places where you can create a newsletter from scratch. You can either click on the start a newsletter button here at the top, or you have start a newsletter right here in the recent newsletters section. Okay, but again, before we jump and look at like editing a specific newsletter, I want to talk about templates. So if you were to come to the S'mores area here and click on templates, this is going to open up our template center. And this is what sometimes we call the Educator Hive. Now, templates are perfect for when you are trying to create a newsletter, let's say from scratch, right? And you are needing something to just get you started. Sometimes we can suffer from something I like to call the blank page syndrome. When you're needing to be creative and create something and you're staring at a blank page and it feels just kind of overwhelming. How do I get started? How should I structure this? What should it look like? Well, the Template Center is made just for that. So there are two different kind of types of templates that we have here created for you. There are templates created by our team. We have an in-house educator, Dr. Kara Stern, who creates a lot of great templates for us. And so if you click there, you can see that she's created a lot of templates that are related to a lot of different things. They're high quality, ready to be copied and ready to be used, from a back to school letter to parents for teachers, tech updates, right? Classroom rules poster, right? Meet the teacher template, maybe something around a holiday or something like that. But this is a great place for you to then click on one of these templates. So let's just click on, let's say, this back to school newsletter here. So if I was to click on this back to school newsletter, you have the ability to preview this newsletter a little bit of how it's structured, what it looks like. Okay, interesting. Yes, I like how they've maybe organized this. And then all you need to do is click on start using this template, and voila, it throws you into the editing experience here. And now I can make changes. Let's go ahead and click done editing for a second here though, and come back, because again, I want to go back to where our templates are located. So these are templates that are created, again, by our own in-house educator, the wonderful Kara Stern. We also have templates that have been submitted by other SMORE users just like you. And so you can we've tried to organize some of those on the left. Like, we have the newest here. If we wanted something specifically about assignments, right? Or resources or a presentation, right? You can see here. You can also just do a keyword search, right? So if I wanted to search for, back to school, you can see it's one of the searches that I had there. And let's actually switch that and go back to assignment, right? So this is all the newsletters that have been that have the word assignment in them somewhere, right? So you can come here and look through, right, all these different templates, even click on show more results, right? And you can see any newsletter that have been created. This was created by user Kimberly Johnson, right? I'm not even sure where Kimberly Johnson is located, but a newsletter that you can look through and say, I want to see if this is something maybe I want to copy the structure, right? And duplicate this template just for myself. Now, a question that comes up is, well, what about, what about, if there's some private information or something in these newsletters? Well, you don't have to worry about that. Whenever you click on start using this template, what it'll do is it'll strip out all the images and other things. It just kind of gives you the structure of that newsletter. So all private information, of course, is stripped away there, and you're good to go. So this is the first thing I wanted to cover, the templates, on allowing you a lot of different options. And this can give you a lot of ideas as well on maybe the type of newsletters that you would want to create here, because there's so many different ways to use SMORE as a traditional newsletter, but also and just as maybe just a landing page. It's almost like a mini web page that you can spin up yourself that can house and contain a lot of different information. Okay, perfect. I want to pause there just for a second to see if there's any questions in the comments here around templates and anything that I've already shown. Okay, greetings. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, hello. Wow. Awesome, awesome. So, Najid, is there anything you think that I should cover here? That maybe I'm just taking a quick look. Everyone's saying hi. Hello, hello. I love it.
Mhm. They love the word educators hive that you used, because that is something that started the buzz of templates also. And yes, Gurdeep sir very rightly pointed out that they are actually the skeleton dogs to create awesome work from there on. So yeah, there isn't any question coming as of now for templates and all, because what I can see on my screen are awesome, colorful things, and
Yeah.
getting ready to jump on it anytime.
Yeah, perfect. Yes. And you're right. I love people kind of pointing at seeing that, boy, it's so colorful, so many different things. Oh, you just wait, right? If you love how beautiful these newsletters look, we haven't even got into how you do that. So let's jump into like the editing experience for creating a newsletter. Because again, remember, if you remember nothing else, SMORE was made to be easy, right? To be beautiful, to make these newsletters in a way that doesn't take a lot of time, because we know you're so busy with all these other things. We want you to focus on those students in your classroom, on their learning, on their growth, and not have to worry about, oh, how do I create the perfect, communication page for my parents or for my students. Okay, we're coming back here, and we want to be able to go in and edit some newsletters now, and maybe look at a few things. So we'll actually come back to this back to school newsletter. Now, I mentioned there's two different ways where you can start from scratch, right? You can say, oh, I wanted to, start from a newsletter here. I want to start a brand new newsletter here. And that's pretty straightforward. But we'll kind of look at this back to school newsletter, and we'll use this as the main kind of newsletter that we'll look at for the editing. But I quickly want to come back, because sometimes I can get a little bit, we'll use up all the time if I click around and start looking at all the features. And so I want to show this short little video that kind of highlights all the editing tools and how you can create a beautiful newsletter. This kind of helps me just stay focused and succinct, again, because sometimes I can start getting crazy and getting excited about all the different features. So let's watch this video really fast, and then we'll kind of come back, and I want to highlight some other like very popular features of the product. But there's no words or anything here. It's just music, and this is even a little bit older video, but again, it gives you a good idea of how to use the product. That video is always so catchy. I mean, that music is always so catchy for me whenever I listen to that. All right, so that gave you kind of a quick overview. As you can see, there's a lot of just like pre-made, pre-structuring to these newsletters. We sometimes pride ourselves in saying that we'll never let you make an ugly newsletter. That's what we sometimes have competitions. We say, let's see if we can if this person can even create an ugly newsletter. We want to make sure that their newsletter looks good every single time. So again, if I'm going in and editing this newsletter, so I click on edit newsletter, And again, this is kind of already pre-created, kind of a template here. But if I wanted to just change the design on what this looks like, you notice that there's these kind of pre-structured designs that once you hover over them, right, you see that the newsletter automatically changes and you can kind of preview that. And we do a lot of the work for you. We already kind of say, oh, well, this is kind of the way that it should be structured, a good color scheme, all these things. And you can tweak that a little bit, but not a whole lot. Like I said, you're able to only change things a little bit. And we try to make it so that you don't have to worry about some of these design aspects. So let's say I wanted to use this stars and stripes design right here. I can come and change the backgrounds. There's so many different education backgrounds you can choose from. And all you have to do is hover over them and you're able to see what these backgrounds look like before you want to be able to choose them. So let's say I wanted to choose this cool library book one, right? You can change and tweak the colors a little bit here on what those look like. Notice it changes the colors all throughout the newsletter. It changes the shading and how it looks. So again, it's just something that's really easy for you to be able to tweak and change. Look there's only 4 fonts that you can choose from. Sometimes there's 6. So again, if you really love to get into changing fonts and some of these things, SMORE is probably not for you. Go use Canva, go use, some Adobe product, or maybe just start with a Google page that you've created yourself. This only allows you to change certain things, and we make it so, again, you cannot create an ugly newsletter. It looks good every single time. Okay, so the editing experience is pretty straightforward as you saw. And if you click on the little plus button here, you can see you can add text, titles, pictures, events. You can embed a video, right? A button and add links, audio. And we're constantly adding to this kind of library of things that you're able to add. Down at the bottom, you can also kind of add things here. If you wanted to change where things are located, simply click and drag, right? You can take them to different spots on your newsletter. Okay, so if I want to click the publish changes, because now these changes are live, I want to talk about a few other kind of advanced features that come with like the creation of a newsletter. I really want to highlight some of the translation capabilities that come with SMORE newsletters. So if I clicked on this little link right here under the edit newsletter button, it is the preview this newsletter. So when I click on this, it's going to open up this newsletter in a new tab and allow me to see exactly what my parents are going to see. When I send this out or when I share this newsletter, I want to see exactly what my parents or students or community members or staff, right, or other colleagues, whoever I send this to, I want to see exactly what they see. So if I click on preview this newsletter, it opens it up in a new tab. And now I'm seeing exactly what they see here. So on the right-hand side is this little black box, and this shows up for every recipient, everyone who sees this newsletter. And I want to highlight this little translate button. So SMORE newsletters have the ability to be translated, and a translation is really, really powerful. It's not perfect, of course, right? If you wanted to be perfect, then maybe you would create your own newsletter in a separate language. But if I clicked on translate here, and this is using Google Translate, right, as the main technology is translating this, you can see that I can select from all the different languages, right, that Google Translate supports. So let's just say I wanted to select Hindi, right? I did a little homework, and I know that this is the most popular language, right? Or as far as numbers spoken in the country there. And you can see that a click of a button, right? It translates all of basically everything except for the images that you attach into your newsletter. All those things are translated automatically right here inside of your newsletter. The buttons and other places, right, where we kind of process information, all that is going to be translated. Now, if your parent, if they're by default, their settings on their computer, their mobile phone are set to Hindi, then it'll automatically detect that and it'll translate that newsletter right when it shows up for them. So really, really powerful there. Again, I know it's not perfect. My father came from Peru, the country of Peru, here to the United States, and of course speaks Spanish. And he's constantly telling me, oh, Google Translate didn't translate that correctly. It's not perfect. Oh, the school or the teacher didn't do that great. But he's really appreciative also because he knows, oh, wow, they're making an effort to try to reach out to me in my native language, right? And and communicate to me in the way that will engage me the most. So there's also a high contrast mode, and you can also kind of blow up the text here. This is really helpful for like you're reading on a mobile device. And all SMORE newsletters are mobile ready. It looks beautiful and is automatically kind of formatted for mobile devices. So if they open up, whether on the desktop like we're doing here, or if they mobile from their mobile device, it's going to look, again, I keep using this word, beautiful. It's going to look great there. Okay, so coming back, and Najee, feel free to stop me at any time. I can't see the chat box while I'm doing this, doing the demo here, but if a question comes up, feel free to interrupt me at any time. Totally fine there. So
yeah, we have a couple of questions, if we can take them now.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So there's a question that can we create our own templates in SMORE, or there are only predefined ones which we can maybe tweak a little, or put in some elements or something like that. So can we start from blank? Can we start from scratch and make our own templates?
So you can. So basically what you'll do is, let's come back here. So you could start from scratch. So let's say I wanted to say start a newsletter. You can then say start from scratch, or we do provide some template structures here, but let's just say I want to start from scratch. Okay. So I'm going to skip kind of going through here, blah, blah, blah. If I wanted to say template 1, right? And I go through and I create a beautiful newsletter that's going to be my template that I'm going to be able to use in the future. Let's just envision that, right? I won't go through it, but let's say, okay, I keep all the settings. I say done editing. Now, when I go back to my dashboard, and when I go back into either here on the homepage, or if I click on newsletters, and this is something we're jumping ahead a little bit, right? But when I click on newsletters, this is where I have all of my newsletters, and I can create folders on the left-hand side. And this is where you could create maybe a folder and call it, my templates, or primary school templates, or something like that. And what you can do is you can come in and you hover over one of your newsletters, you click on options, and then you click on duplicate. And what that will do is that will basically make a copy of this template, right? So you'll be able to duplicate this newsletter. Now, it becomes even more amazing when you have SMORE newsletters rolled out to maybe an entire team. Let's say your entire school, you have multiple staff members who are using SMORE. You can create something, and I wasn't even going to share this, but you can create something called shared folders, where then multiple users can put newsletters into a folder, and that folder is shared with everyone, kind of like, Google folders, right? Kind of Google sharing, right? Think it the same way, right? And then multiple users can access maybe the same template and duplicate that. They can even edit the same newsletter when you're using a Teams account, and you have kind of that joint experience there.
Awesome. And can we add animated or GIF images to the newsletters when we are creating one?
So that is something that's actually coming in the new editing experience. One of the features, right? That's coming out. It'll be rolled out by the end of this year, is my guess, right? Is when we'll fully have that available to everyone. But yes, being able to add, add GIFs and some of these other things, we'll be able to put that right into your newsletter. Also, the ability to, instead of, because right now videos are needing to be either a YouTube or a Vimeo link that you would add to your newsletter, and then it'll render in the newsletter. With the new update, you'll just be able to upload a raw MP4 or MP3 file, right, to your newsletter, and it'll automatically kind of render it for you and add it to your newsletter, which is really powerful.
And if somebody else has to view my newsletter, would they be required to sign in, or will a link to? I mean, will they have to sign in with SMORE or something like that before they can view the newsletter, or before they can view the link that I have shared with them?
So no. So if you're wanting to share it with someone to have them edit it or review it or something like that, but they'll need to have a SMORE account. But when and this is jumping ahead a little bit, I was going to talk about sharing your newsletter. But when you share a newsletter, they do not need to have a SMORE account. They'll click on, so let's come back to our back to school newsletter that we were playing with here. So this link, right, is the unique link for this particular newsletter here. So when you share this link out, it's going to look they're going to click on this link and it's going to look exactly like this. They're not going to need to sign in or anything else. They're going to come and see your digital newsletter that you've created, be able to click on click on the links, everything else. So there's no sign in required for kind of the viewing experience.
Awesome, awesome. So by the end of the year, maybe SMORE is going to bring our newsletters to life with all the animation, with all the GIFs, and with all the videos that we're going to include there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can share that newsletter as a PDF as well, right? So that, of course, is going to be an option to be sharing it as PDF. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you could be printed, right, and shared in PDF and different things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is good. These are good questions. And that's a good segue, I think, to kind of sharing your newsletter and some of the sharing options, because now that you've created something beautiful, how do you share it, right? And there's so many different ways you can communicate this out and share it with your parents or students. If there's no more questions related to kind of the creation of newsletters, should we go
not to the creation of newsletters, but somebody wants to know if there are different free and paid versions and what is the difference. Like if there's a free version and if there's a paid version. So what all are we going to get and not going to get as a part of them?
Yeah, perfect. Well, all that information, I'll just say this quickly. We're going to kind of cover it at the end, but I'll say quickly that there is a free version of SMORE. Anybody can go to SMORE, they can sign up for free, and then they have the ability to create 3 free newsletters, right? So they can play around with a product, they can create a newsletter, they can share it, they can do everything, and you have up to 3 newsletter credits. Then after that, you're given an option, right, to upgrade to one of our paid versions. And you can find all that information on smore.com, right? We have individual accounts, right, that you can purchase for as little as $79. Again, I apologize, right? It's all in dollars, right now, but $79, right, a year, or you can upgrade again to some of our team accounts, where if you wanted to roll this out to your entire school or to your entire area, right, or something like that, then there's all sorts of options. I won't go into a whole lot of details around that's all the sales, right, stuff on how you're utilizing the product, but yes, there are. I will say there's a free version to try it out, and then there's paid versions, right, that kind of give you additional access to things.
Yeah. So no more questions now. We can definitely move ahead.
Love it. 5 a.m. Let's go. All right. So let's talk about sharing your newsletter. So now that we've created this, we want to share it out. There's a couple different sharing options. So I first mentioned that there's this link. So this is a unique link for this newsletter. Now, this is something that's powerful about this is a dynamic link. So meaning if I wanted to take this link and I wanted to post it somewhere or text it out, send a SMS message to parents, and I send that link. After I send it, if I wanted to quickly make a change, I was like, oh no, about this, this about me section or something, I need to change this or change this picture. You do not need to send out a new link after you've shared that. So it's very similar, right, to Google sharing and what you're used to there, right? This is very much dynamic. It'll automatically be updated. It's almost like, again, spinning up your own like mini web page. And we saw during the pandemic in 2020, we saw educators using SMORE almost like their own like web page. So they would create a newsletter and would say, here's all the assignments for this week. And then they would update the newsletter and with week 2, right, saying, here's all the assignments and here's things you need to work on, right? And this was constantly shared out to either students or teachers. And so they were almost using it like a mini LMS. And we thought, wow, this was not how we intended the product to be used, but can it be used that way? Sure. It can absolutely be used that way because this is a place that can house all these different buttons and links and everything else. And, it's almost like their own web page that they've kind of spun up and are using it in that way. So maybe that sparks some ideas of ways that you can use SMORE in a non-traditional kind of newsletter way. So anyway, so link sharing. You share this link out, and it's probably the simplest and easy way to be able to share the newsletter. Now, there's other ways you can do sharing. You can share on social media, right? Very easy to be able to share this out on your Facebook page or Twitter, right? You can see the different options there. We're looking to add Instagram here soon. If you wanted to embed this into maybe your website or some sort of landing page, you can click on copy or embed link here, and that provides you with that embed code to be able to embed it into your Google Sites page or something else. You also can use our own built-in email service. So if you wanted to share this out via email, you simply click on send a newsletter here, and then this allows you an option to type in or paste any email addresses. Really, really straightforward. Excuse me, 5 in the morning. You you add the email addresses here. You can change the subject, who it's from, right? You can kind of schedule that out, add a personal message, and hit send now. And then that will send this newsletter out as an email, and it will be an embedded email. It won't just have the link. It'll be an email that's embedded and look really, really nice there. You notice you can also kind of send a test email to yourself if you wanted to. So this is something that's really, really simple, really straightforward on how to send this out via email, again, using our email service that's built in. A lot of educators, though, they already have some sort of email service tool. They already are using either just Google, right? Or they have some sort of mass notification solution like Blackboard or an LMS tool like Canvas, right? Or something like that they're using. And in that case, right, they'll either just include the link or, and this is the last sharing option I want to highlight, they'll share using something called this mass notification system export. And what this does is this allows you to export the HTML of this newsletter. So I don't know if you've ever done this, don't be overwhelmed by seeing this wall of like, it looks like code or something. All you need to do is say copy to clipboard, and then you'll go into whatever third-party system, and you'll need to go into the WYSIWYG editor, and there'll be some sort of option that says edit source code, and you simply then just paste this HTML in there, and it'll be nice and embedded and look really nice. You can do this inside of your LMS. I know you can do that inside of Canvas or Blackboard or any other messaging tool that you might have. Almost all of them allow you to edit the source code, and you can put the HTML in there. So those are some of the main sharing options, right, that come with your SMORE newsletter. We're constantly looking at other ways, right, to improve that. I skipped over this. This is if you wanted to submit this as a template to the Educator Hive. Remember when we clicked on templates and there was looking at all the templates that were submitted by other users? If you created something amazing, you're like, man, I'd love to share this with all other educators around the world. You click here, and then that submits it to SMORE. We do a quick review and then approve that and add it to the template center that's made available there. So, and then you can also just print and download as a PDF, as I mentioned, right? There's that option there if you're still needing to do that, right? Of course, we always lean towards go more digital. Parents want digital tools on the go, mobile friendly, some of these things, but you do have print options made available there. All right. So those are the sharing options that come with your newsletters. Now, we have a few more things I want to cover, especially analytics. I want to look at newsletter analytics because they're really powerful. But I'll pause just for a second to see if there's any questions related to sharing of newsletters and how you would communicate this out to parents.
We do not have anything about sharing as of now. People have really just got what you are trying to tell them, and at 5 in the morning they find your energy really infectious. So,
Love it. That's what you have to be. I told Narjit, I was like, hey, if I had to do this all the time, I would say, oh man, this is really hard for me to always at 5 in the morning. But once every once in a while doing this, come on, we can do 5 in the morning, no problem. All right, so let's talk about newsletter analytics. So there are some powerful analytics capabilities within SMORE newsletters that our users just love. And so I'm actually going to open up a newsletter that I have already sent out and shared with people so that you can kind of get a sense of some of the analytics. And I'm actually going to open up something that I created for Google certified trainers. This is a kind of a perk program that we put together for Google certified trainers. And I've already sent this out. And you can see right here that there's been 723 visitors, right? Unique visitors to this particular newsletter. So quite a bit, right? So if I click on show analytics, then let's take a quick look. Now, we're not going to have time to deep dive into everything here, but hopefully this will give you a sense of what you can see and have available with your newsletters when you send them out. So I'm able to see, of course, kind of visitors all time and over a period of time, kind of when I'm getting kind of peaks and valleys of my views. I'm able to see where this incoming traffic is coming from, right? Whether it's from a website or a direct link that I'm sending out, or if they went to smore.com, right? And they're finding that. How much time they're spending, right, on each one of on this particular newsletter. If I have any links, right? How many times are my links being clicked on? Right? And what does that look like? There's some contact request information that can come through. I won't talk about that. But again, this is just kind of some at a glance, quick data that you have at your fingertips, knowing how well your newsletter is being read, is being consumed. Now, this locations tab right here is really, really cool. So this newsletter has been viewed by visitors from 363 different locations, right? So you can see here, if I'm scrolling, right, majority of them you can see from the United States. But what we have some views here, right, even from India, right, from all over. So you're able to get a sense of not only total number of views, but kind of where these are coming from. And sometimes it's really neat to be able to see, oh wow, my newsletter is being either viewed or shared and opened in a lot of different locations. It's just kind of fun to be able to see that. Might make you think about how you might change the content that's inside your newsletter. So, and then the last thing here is an email report. If I had emailed this newsletter out, then it would show here a little bit better report saying, oh wow, these are individuals who opened it. This is the red. These are individuals who maybe have a bad email address where it could not be delivered. That will show up here in kind of an email report for you that you'll have available. But high level, just overview of the analytics, right, and the metrics that you have available after you send out your newsletter. Just so powerful. Our users love that because it goes beyond just being something you send out and then you just hope it gets viewed or read. You have actual data there that you can use to help make better decisions and help communicate to your team saying, hey, we're doing a great job of engaging or communicating with students, with parents, with our community. I'll pause for another moment there because sometimes people have questions about, oh wow, those, can you do this particular analytics? Again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time there. There's a whole website, help site that you can go to kind of break it down. But I just wanted to let you know that we do have some powerful analytics there. All right. Well, let's keep moving then. So Naji, is there anything we wanted to cover? Are we good?
Yeah. Right now, I do not have any more questions coming. I think the first session where we were creating templates and everything, they were getting more excited there, and they asked everything that had to be covered in this part of the session also, including all the links and everything. So yeah, it's been awesome. So I would request everybody to go up and Jonathan was just sharing the screen where it was written trainers and everything. So being a Google certified trainer, I have got a free license, and
yes,
trust me, I am creating newsletters every other day. And I'm sending it out to my school, to my parents, to my children. I'm doing anything, I'm doing everything, and I'm just sending them out so that they get excited with all the colors, with all the pictures, and of course, our information. Information is something that has to be sent out to the parents after every other while. So even if I have to share a small information about the schools are reopening and I want consent from the parents, and these are the dates and this is the unit test, I am doing that on newsletters now. And the parents, the kind of energy the parents are sharing, the kind of positive comments I'm getting from them, telling us that the information is really what they call is colorful information, but what I call is information going, and a lot of appreciation coming for the school. And that is what schools look for, that is what teachers look for, appreciation from parents. And the parents are one who are to be who should be happy about how the school is going and everything that we are doing in school. Now I am going to sort of train other teachers also in school, and we are all going to be start using SMORE with a lot more licenses and everything. So this is the kind of I fell in love with that with this newsletter format when I did not have a license, and I was really expecting. And one day when it popped up on my screen, it popped up in my Google group of trainers telling me that they are giving out licenses to trainers. Trust me, I was really happy, and that was the day. The moment I got it, I got in touch with Jonathan, telling them that this is what I love, and I want every educator in India, almost everybody, to know about this project, and they must be using it for lots of things. So yeah, here we are, and this this session has been amazing. And guys, if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to ask, any feature that you want to know more about, kindly put your queries and your questions in the comment box. I'm going to take up with Jonathan, and this video is going to be on the channel. If you have missed something, you can revisit, re-see, rewatch it, and the things are going to get amazing from here on. So it is a of course, Jonathan has been a great motivation, getting up at 5 every other one. He was telling us he's up at 5, and his energy was really infectious, as Anjali rightly pointed. So this is a huge motivation. And yes, now it's the time. I think Jonathan is going to tell us about the giveaways, and then we shall start doing that as well.
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to mention a couple other things just quickly. I mentioned there's a great support services as well that come with SMORE. There's something called SMORE Academy. We also have some great help documentation, a whole help center and library. And so even though it's really, really easy to use and very intuitive, right, we do provide some great services there as well. And you can try it out for free. As mentioned, I kind of said this at the beginning, but go to smore.com, create a free account using your Google, your Google credentials there to kind of create that account, and you can try it out for free to see if it's something that you would want to be able to utilize, right, in your classroom, at your school, at your facilities, right, something that you can do there. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, oh yes, social channels. Please follow us on social, right? We do all sorts of fun things there. You can connect with us and learn about all the new things, especially the new updates that we're making there. So, but anyway, giveaway time, so we want to be able to give away some of our fun little SMORE pillows that we give away at conferences and events. So winners will be able to get a link, and in that link you'll just put in your mailing address, your contact information, and then we'll ship that directly to you. And you can have one of our fun little SMORE pillows there. So, and Najit, I originally committed, I think 10 of these newsletters. I'd love to bump that up to just 15. Let's do even more, right? And see if we can get even more winners, right? And I'll turn the time over to you, let you kind of figure out how you want to do the spinning wheel and how we want to select the winners.
All right. So we already have names in the spinning wheel, and the number of 10 got up to 15. So Mala ma'am, are you ready with that? So Mala ma'am here with us is ready with that. I'm going to put down Jonathan's screen. Mala ma'am, should I share your screen? Please share your screen. Share. Mala ma'am, you are on mute.
Yes, I have done.
All right, I'm sharing. I'm sharing your screen, and you may start.
This screen of mine?
Yes, we can see.
So here we begin. Rushali.
The first name is Rushali. Rushali, what you have to do is, if you are there in GEG Punjab and Amritsar group, ma'am, could you share, if you have put in some music as background or something for the tab, then what you can do is share only this tab, and then the music and all is also going to be, getting it us and everything, right? So just share that tab only if you have. So Rushali, Jonathan, how are they going to get you just mentioned that they have to send the email. So,
I think just an email. If they can just share the email address, right? Then I'll make a note of the email address, and I'll send you. I'll email that link.
So should I mail you all the email addresses, all 15 email addresses? Should I do that, or should they get in touch with you?
I think I think it'd be helpful if you could gather all those. If you want to just send me all the email addresses, and then
Yeah.
I can make sure that I could even
All
send you
right.
the link, and then you could send it out, or however we want to do that. But yeah, we'll just want to make sure we capture the email
I
address.
am going to send all the email addresses to you, and then you can then get in touch with those email addresses, and then we move forward. So Rishali, you are there with us in our group, right? So you can WhatsApp me, or you can mail me your mailing address. I'll make sure that your email ID goes to Jonathan. Next one, ma'am.
Akash.
Akash. Okay. So we are going to eliminate Akash now. Next one. Ma'am, I'm writing. You keep spinning. I'm making a record of that.
One. Harpreet Chaudhary.
Harpreet Chaudhary.
Mentoring Meenakshi.
I think that's Meenakshi. Right, Meenakshi ma'am? Is it mentoring? The mentor is Meenakshi, right? Awesome.
Narinder.
Awesome.
Vandana.
Vandana.
Swati.
Swati.
Anjali.
Anjali. I think everybody on this wheel is going to get something today.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think everyone's gonna get one, and if they don't, I'll just make it so everyone gets one. Right? I'll just like send it to everyone.
See or Mokale live.
No, Kali. So we have taken the names that joined us in the first 15 minutes and were there throughout with us.
Gurdeep.
So we have chosen only those names. Gurdeep.
Awesome.
Narjeet.
I already got one.
Oh.
So yeah, Jonathan, I already got one. Thank you.
Hitesh.
Hitesh. I hope all these names that we are calling out, you are there with me in the group. Once I end this broadcast, I won't be able to get in touch with you. So if you aren't there, if you aren't in the group, I am sending you the link to join my WhatsApp group. Please join there so that I can collect all the email IDs from you. Right? I'm just posting. Tariq.
Tariq is also there.
Yeah, Tariq is there. So people are just loving you, Jonathan. They are calling you a sweetheart for having given them all these gifts.
Oh, my pleasure. And this is the fun. This is some of the fun things that I get to do, right? Working at SMORE. My role in community engagement is I'm in charge of all the gifting and swag and all the fun things that companies get to do. So yeah, my pleasure.
Done, Malaban, good. Next.
Oh, it's Rupinder. Rupinder.
Rupinder. Done.
No.
50.
No. Madhuri. And the next one is
Rupinder.
Obviously Rupinder.
Obviously Rupinder. And Rupinder is really spinning. So yeah, these were the fun giveaways. People, we could include the names who joined us in the first 50 minutes, and they were throughout the session with us. They joined us, and yeah, we couldn't include all the names, but maybe next time. Maybe next time we are going to have some fun stuff, and next time we can have um, more giveaways for us. So that's an
For
awesome
sure.
thing. And if you still want to get in touch with Jonathan, can you share your Twitter handle?
Yeah.
If you have any doubts, people, if you
Need,
have any doubts,
need 10 giveaways, but fortunately he said 15, and that was
everybody got
everybody's done.
Yeah.
everybody is happy. Everybody got, so everybody's happy. And
That worked
yes,
out
you can get
perfect.
in touch with Jonathan with his Twitter handle or email ID. If you could share, Jonathan. So if you have any query, you can put your query in the YouTube channel also, and you can get in touch with me as well and with Jonathan. We will be more than happy to settle the queries that you have. And I hope that you are going to start using this free platform for creating amazing newspapers. And coming from me, this is my personal experience. People try it. It just takes you minutes to create beautiful newsletters that you can send to your parents, your schools, your managements also, for that matter. Here managements also matter, Jonathan. India managements are also a good thing, and parents as well, right? So
Right.
a great place to start with creating newsletters. So once again, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for having this session with me. I know it is really early, but you've been a sweetheart. You
We
are
had
a
fun.
sweetheart.
This is good
True.
times. Thanks for getting
Yeah.
me up early. I'm gonna go work out now. I've never been up this early, so this is so great.
Thank you,
I,
Jonathan.
I don't. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And please do, your feedback link is going to be available in the Google groups that you're added with GEG Punjab and Amritsar. And your certificates are going to be with the feedback link that I shall be posting there. And you can access your, after filling the feedback link, you can access your certificates as well. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we shall meet next Friday with another, what we started calling Tech Friday episode with GEG Punjab and Amritsar. So
Love
thank you
it.
so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Great weekend.